NFC West. A large part of those struggles stemmed from a lack of veteran leadership and talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. In the shadow of future Hall of Famer Kurt Warner, Derek Anderson posted a QB rating under 70, despite the presence of perennial All-Pro wideout Larry Fitzgerald, who put up solid numbers but struggled without Anquan Bolden splitting the field. The running back tandem of Tim Hightower and Beanie Wells combined for the league's worst rushing attack, averaging only 87 yards per game. On defense, Arizona hopes to bolster a lineup that ranked 30th against the run and 23rd against the pass. An offense without leadership, a defense without results. Can Arizona return to 2008 form?
Whether they'll be able to return to 2008 form is largely predicated on that quarterback play. Let's see what they did in previous drafts to maybe get a forecast of what they might do in this 2011 draft. In the 2007 draft, it was Levi Brown, the tackle from Penn State. 2008, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie at the cornerback position was the selection. 2009, Billy, your Ohio State Buckeye. Beanie Wells was the pick. In 2010, Dan Williams, the defensive tackle, was the guy. And now the Arizona Cardinals have just announced that their pick is in. Melissa, we go back to you for the 5th selection in the 2011 NFL Draft.
With the 5th pick of the 2011 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Patrick Peterson, cornerback, LSU.
Peterson, the playmaker from LSU, is the pick at number 5 for the Cardinals, Tom.
When you look at a player like Patrick Peterson, the first thing that stands out are his elite speed and ball skills. At 219 pounds, his size is impressive. He's got great hands, first off. He's going to make an immediate impact for the Arizona Cardinals, both in defensive secondary and on special teams, with just an extraordinary ability to have the ball in his hands and make plays. As you see it, he jumps up and makes a great leaping catch on that play.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Joey, the second he was drafted, he became the largest cornerback in the league at 219 pounds. He's an absolute beast. The problem I'm having is the Arizona Cardinals did not need to address their secondary, especially this high. I'm hoping that he was the top guy on their board and they just took the best player they saw in the draft. But they were 31st in offense last year. Their quarterback play was absolutely atrocious. You've got to help out Larry Fitzgerald, who's clearly the best player on your team. You got to go offense. I really don't understand them going for the secondary. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, great player. I felt that that was the last area of need for the Arizona Cardinals was the secondary. So I'm a little curious with their pick. But Patrick Peterson, as we said, an absolute monster.
Well, Tom, let's talk about that for a minute. The difference between value and need this high up in the NFL draft.
Well, absolutely. I mean, in all cases, you want to get a little bit of both. The best player available who fits a need. For Arizona right now, they just thought the best player available was certainly more than need. Yeah, you mentioned maybe at quarterback. Right now, John Skelton, Dan Anderson, a little up in there. Who's going to be that guy? Maybe Patrick Patterson was that much higher on their board than Blaine Gabbert.
It kind of confuses me when you're in the top 10 picks that you're going for value over what you need. If you're in the top 10 in the NFL draft, chances are something was extremely wrong. Yeah, exactly. You needed a lot of things. And Arizona, yes, needed a lot of things. But secondary help? Come on. I thought they would know better than this. I'm very confused by this.
Billy, I know you disagree with that. You may disagree with this as well. The Cleveland Browns were on the clock at the number 6 selection overall, but there has been a trade. The Atlanta Falcons have moved into that position, and they have selected their player.
The Cleveland Browns have traded the 6th pick to the Atlanta Falcons, and with that pick, the Falcons select Julio Jones, wide receiver, Alabama.
Perhaps getting greedy at the number 6 overall selection. Julio Jones is the pick from Alabama, Tom.
Julio Jones is another playmaker going into the NFC South here. Coming in as evidenced by that great play right there. Julio Jones, prototypical size, 6'2", 220.
Oh my
Great
goodness.
hands is evidence right there. This guy's going to make an immediate impact, and there's going to be another weapon for Matt Ryan as the Falcons just keep getting better and better on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Joey, the NFC South has to just be cringing right now for the fact that Atlanta picked up another playmaker to go on the other side of Roddy White. You now have Roddy White, Harry Douglas, Julio Jones, Michael Jenkins in that wide receiving court. They are absolutely stacked. Matt Ryan must be salivating somewhere right now. He has so many choices to go to now. This is an offense that was already on the up and up and is now just even better. They're going to start. I won't say this year because Drew Brees is clearly still better than Matt Ryan, but there's going to be a serious competition between those offenses in the NFC South now.
Guys, all through high school, it was who was the better receiver, A.J. Green or Julio Jones? In college, in the SEC, who was the better receiver, A.J. Green or Julio Jones? Now, in the NFL draft, who's the better receiver, A.J. Green or Julio Jones? Some things never change. We go now to Eugene Daniel in Studio A with a Falcons fan for some reaction from them.
I tell you what, one person you left off that list was Tony Gonzalez. Don't forget about him, but everything else is a young, very, very, very athletic core that they're going to have on offense. Big time, just even being an LSU fan, Julio Jones is somebody that I have to see constantly throughout the SEC. I'm so excited for this pick. Atlanta's about to do big things on offense.
Eugene, I know you personally are an Atlanta Falcons fan. Great to get some reaction from you. Now the San Francisco 49ers are on the clock. But guys, they woefully underachieved last year. Some high hopes for them in the NFC West last year before the season started. Where do they go from here? What's their biggest need, Tom?
I think when you look at San Francisco, obviously they're still in need at quarterback, and there's a good one still there right now at the top of their board. Also defensively, maybe a pass rusher like a guy like Robert Quinn. There's a lot of different ways they can go here. I think you've got to address the defensive line. Even makes the defense that much better.
I don't know, Joe. I love their defense in San Francisco. Mike Singletary built a great one before he left. I think they have to go offense. I personally despise Alex Smith. I think he's completely overrated. Their backup quarterback, Troy Smith from Ohio State, kind of has a bit of it. He's done. I mean, we're not going to see any more out of him. I think if they have a quarterback on that board, they need to go and get him.
Certainly quarterback problems characterized their year last year in 2010. Let's take a look at the tape to see what went wrong.
For the San Francisco 49ers, the 2010 season was a failure to meet expectations. Expectations set by a tradition of excellence and a history of quarterback greatness. But the past decade has been witness to a fall from grace for the 49ers and their quarterbacks. Hope rises on the Bay Area horizon in the form of another great former quarterback, an offensive mastermind, a man ready and capable of leading the franchise in a bold new direction. The weapons are present. A dynamic young wide receiver. A bruising yet graceful running back. And a physical specimen at the tight end position. The Harbaugh era begins in San Francisco, and history is on the side of the 49ers.
We're all certainly looking forward to see what Harbaugh brings to the Bay Area this season. We're also looking forward to seeing what draft parties are raging on campus right now. For that, we go to our reporter on the scene, Joe Bruno. Joe, what party are you at?
Thanks, guys. I'm live here in Moffett at a draft party. Here's Moffett 321 crew. Guys, what do you think of the draft so far?
It's pretty good, you know. Good picks so far.
Just waiting for the Bears.
Any surprises so far? What do you think was the biggest surprise?
I'd say the trade up for Julio Jones, you know.
And how about all those picks? The Browns get 5 picks for giving up 1. What do you think about that?
I think it's probably a bad move on the Falcons' part in the future, but we'll see.
All right, thanks, guys. We are live here in Moffett. I'm Joe Bruno. Now we're going to toss it back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Joe. That's quite a party. Let's look at the San Francisco 49ers picks for the last 4 years to see why they've declined a little bit in this past 2010 season. Starting in 2007, boy, now that's an NFL selection. Patrick Willis, the mean, lean middle linebacker from Ole Miss, was the pick at 11. 2008, Kentwan Balmer, the defensive end from North Carolina. 2009, Michael Crabtree, the wide receiver from Texas Tech, was the pick at 10, and 2010, Anthony Davis, the tackle from Rutgers, 111th. Greg and Kurt, let's go back to you right now. What will it take to get the San Francisco 49ers over the hump?
Thanks again, Joey. It seems as though, Kurt, that every single season the Niners are that sleeper pick to make the playoffs, but that team by the Bay is always short. What do they need to do to get